Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Frank, and I am the service assistant today. And our talk will be given today by our up-and-coming minister, who will tell you a little bit more about her journey, Joy Castro-Wehr. Yes, related. That's my daughter. And music today by Cheryl. Hodge, hi, thank you. And just a couple quick announcements, and we'll get those out of the way. Next week is our first Sunday of the month, which means there's a potluck. Yeah, got to remind you of that one. And also, it'll be Whitestone. So if you haven't seen the Unity Whitestone ceremony, it's wonderful. It's a great way to start the new year. But today, it's our fourth Sunday. For those of you who might be newer, every fourth Sunday or last Sunday of the month, we do a more contemplative service, candlelight, and a ritual. And today's ritual is our annual dissolving bowl ceremony. So glad you could be here for this ceremony today. Inside your bulletin, there is the Unity 5 principles, and invite you to join me in saying those principles. And take a breath between each one. God is good and present in all things. The holiness of God is my own true nature. I am creating my experiences by how I think, feel, and believe. My thinking is guided by my daily affirmative prayers and affirmative actions. I follow and am sustained by these values in every way, every day, and so it is. I'd like to invite you into a moment of prayer and meditation. I feel comfortable. You might want to close your eyes for a moment. Just let your shoulders relax. Your feet resting gently on the floor. And allow your attention to move down into your heart space. And slowly allow your attention to focus there. You might, in your imagination, see that as the temple of your heart, the very ashram of your soul. Just let your energy sink there, the ashram of your soul, the dome of your own being, abode of your being. Just allow your attention to center there. Take a breath. Center yourself into that place of oneness, that place of divine presence. Allow that very energy of the divine to fill that space of your heart. And in that openness, in that welcoming space, in that knowing, that resonance of oneness, we allow the issues, the people, the things, all that is on our mind, all that is maybe of concern of us, to us, that is joyful for us, all those things, we bring them into our consciousness and we bring them to prayer. And if there's anybody or anything at this moment you would like to pray for, bring it to this place in your heart, bring it to this temple, and feel free to say their name or this issue out loud now. For all these things that we pray for, those we've mentioned, those that are in our hearts, we affirm now that this one presence of good, this one universal love, healing, transformative energy, that is the nature of our being, that is ever present in our soul. It is hearing, responding, touching, transforming all our concerns. And we can trust that. The same power that created the cosmos, the same power that created the universe, the same energy, the same vibration that created us, that brought us forward, that same powerful energy responds to our heartfelt concerns. We can trust in this transformation. We can lean into this love. We can know the truth of our deep embrace. I'm going to share a poem for meditation with you, and I want to suggest, I'm going to read this poem twice, and the first time through, I suggest maybe, if you'd like to, keep your eyes open for this poem. And here's a suggestion. Take a look outside the window at the firs, at the cedars, the alders, the willows. There's lots of critters back there, owls and eagles and hawks and all the little songbirds, lots of little things scurrying down the ground. Just look out the window at this beautiful landscape and take in this poem by Mary Oliver. Look, the trees are turning their own bodies into pillars of light, are giving off the rich fragrance of cinnamon and fulfillment. Their long tapers of cattails are bursting and floating away over the blue shoulders of the ponds. And every pond, no matter what its name is nameless now. And every year, everything I have learned in my lifetime leads back to this: the fires and the black river of loss, whose other side is salvation, whose meaning none of us will ever know. To live in this world, you must be able to do three things: to love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing your own life depends on it, and when the time comes to let it go, let it go. I'm going to read this poem one more time. Perhaps this time you might want to close your eyes, relax your shoulders, and just allow these sacred words to sink into your soul. Look, the trees are turning their own bodies into pillars of light, giving off the rich fragrance of cinnamon and fulfillment. The long tapers of cattails are bursting and floating away over the blue shoulders of the ponds. And every pond, no matter what its name is nameless now. Every year, everything I have ever learned in my lifetime leads me back to this. The fires in the black river of loss, whose other side is salvation, whose meaning none of us will ever know. To live in this world, you must be able to do three things: to love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing your own life depends on it, and when the time comes, to let it go, to let it go. And you take a breath, and as you breathe in, consider this phrase, to love what is mortal. And then on your out breath, to let it go, let it go. On your in breath, to love what is mortal. On your out breath, to let it go, let it go. To love what is mortal, to let it go on your out breath, let it go. And breathe into this energy for a few moments in the silence, in the silence. And now closing with one more deep breath. And on your in-breath, to love what is mortal. And on the out-breath, when the time comes, to let it go, to let it go. Allow your shoulders to relax. Maybe shrug your shoulders one time. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Circle your head a couple times. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And I invite you to come back to the room.
There's going to be a lot of deep breathing today, I think. Good morning, everybody. Just going to get this all adjusted for me. Good morning. I am Joy Castro-Wehr. I'm the daughter of Reverend Frank and Diane Castro-Wehr, and I'm so grateful to be here this year again. It's become, for some of you who have been around for a few years, it's become something of a tradition for me to do this ritual with you all, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity to do it again. So thank you all for being here this morning. I've been coming doing this talk for a few years now, and for those of you who have been following along, I was completing my Master of Divinity degree for the last 3 years, and I just wanted to provide a little update because some of what I'm doing currently is going to inform how this ritual is led today. So I've completed my program, and I'm currently working as a resident chaplain at a hospital in Baltimore. And so what that looks like is about 40 hours a week of wandering up and down hallways, knocking on doors, offering conversation, offering spiritual care to people in a variety of contexts and with a wide variety of situations, of medical situations. I work in a pediatric ICU. I work in a number of sort of post-surgical general units. We work in outpatient contexts, so we're all over the place doing spiritual care for any and all people who may request a bit of support. And so I say all of that to say that I, working as a chaplain and learning that what spiritual care comes down to for me is that we listen to stories. Chaplains listen to stories. And we receive stories, and I even tell people, it's like I have a little basket with me that I carry around, and once the story is in my basket, it's not going anywhere. It's a confidential story, but I treasure and see these stories as such precious little offerings that we get to receive and hold. And then something that we do with these stories once we've heard them is that then we go on to investigate and explore these stories further with people. I sort of think about the story as an opportunity to learn something about this person who I'm interacting with. And how we do that is this first story that's told to us is sort of like a sandbox. We get all of these different toys and images and things that we're playing around in this story. But as we dig, as we use our conversation and our questions, we can kind of drive the little bulldozer around and dig a little deeper and say, okay, but what is this story really telling me about you? And I've come to think of these stories as the first story. So you ask someone, how are you doing? And they say, well, I'm not so great today. And then they tell you a little story about what's going on, what's not so great that day. And what I see my work as a chaplainist is to get at, so I've heard the first story, what's going on underneath this story? And the way that we do this is I listen for the emotions that are coming up in the story. And I follow those emotions as if they were messengers or little tunnels or little portals. And as we follow the emotion, then something starts to become revealed about what's meaningful to that person, what's important, what's at stake for somebody in this story. And just to make this a little more concrete, I thought that I would just give you a couple examples of what comes up in the context that I'm working in right now. And some of you, if not many, if not all of us, have perhaps examples from our own lives of these kinds of scenarios when someone may be hospitalized or very ill. Some of these first stories in this context include, strain on relationships, interpersonal relationships, when somebody has been gone for a long time, away in a hospital, oftentimes far away from home. We experience and see quite a bit of fear of the unknown, fear of a diagnosis or an outcome. And then thirdly, I wanted to provide this example of appreciation. People are grateful to be receiving care that they need, to have received a surgery that they needed. And so these sort of first stories, this appreciation, this fear, this strain in these relationships, these, when explored, can bring up some emotions like loneliness. Are you fearful? Do you feel helplessness? Are you overwhelmed? Are you grateful? Are you experiencing some optimism? Are you hopeful? All of these things can be so revealing. And in these emotions, then the values of this person, the thing that's meaningful to these individuals begin to sort of sparkle up to the surface. For example, the emotion of loneliness might be pointing to the value of community and connection for that person. An experience of fear or helplessness might be indicating to me that this person values their autonomy, the feeling of assurance and being able to control one's path in life. The experience of appreciation, gosh, I'm so grateful to be in the hospital receiving this care, might indicate a value of good medical care. That can be a value of feeling connected to resources, of feeling understood. And so I've been thinking about this in terms of the values that these experiences reveal, that these stories reveal. And I had an aha moment about 10 minutes before this talk where I thought, oh, I'm using the word value, but this is unity. We have something like values built into our story in unity. And this might resonate for you all, this might not, but I was thinking the 12 powers are values. The 12 powers are stabilizing core pieces to each of our identities that we lean on in life that bring us back home to center, to Christ center. So there's this deep listening. We hear the first story, we follow the emotion, we ask, what's really going on here? And then we connect to the meaning behind that story and support the meaning, the value, the principle that is at stake. It's deep listening, and it's something that I've been learning to do as a spiritual care provider, and that I want to now provide you all with the opportunity to practice with and for yourself. So that brings us to this morning. You're probably wondering, we had our dissolving bowl set up here, and I haven't mentioned it really at all this whole time. But this was all set up to say that this year for the dissolving bowl, we are going to practice and examine and explore what it is we're releasing, yes, as ever. And in the ritual, there's going to be some built-in time for exploring what it is that you're releasing teach you about what's valuable, what's meaningful for yourself. Every year, if you've been to a dissolving bowl ceremony, there's a little twist on how we're thinking about it. So this is kind of the reframe for 2025. Let's see. So just the briefest of synopses about what this tradition is for those of you who may not have participated. So in Unity, the final Sunday before New Year's, sometimes it's been the burning bowl in places that are more susceptible to fire, and in contexts where we want to keep the air really clean for everyone, we do a dissolving bowl, which is an opportunity to release things from years past and move forward with dropped shoulders and deeper breath. These things that we might be releasing can be anywhere from experiences from 2025, past relationships, self-blaming narratives, anything emotion that you experience that you're ready to move away from. Any of these things can serve as your dissolving object. And one way to think about, what is it that I might be writing down here this morning is I'm thinking, what is a time where, if you can think about the value that you have, some of the values that you have, what and when have been the times where something may have come into conflict with that. When was something that felt meaningful to you rubbed in such a way that you thought, ugh, it's kind of, something's going on here. Yeah, I'm just thinking I wanted to provide an image for that, and thinking, we've lit this Christ candle, and the way that we have these Christ candle cores at our center, right? We have these burning flames, and that flame is not going to be extinguished. I don't think it can be extinguished, but that flame can get blown around, and that can go, whoa, and then something happens in life, and some kind of wind gusts it, and some kind of bit of that integrity starts to wobble. So we're looking at times, what have been the gusts? What have been the gusts against your stable Christ core? So I'll offer for this ritual today, and I know this is a contemplative service, and it's been a lot of words, so we're going to move right into the ritual here in a minute. I'll offer gently that you try out this deep listening for yourself for the first story, and then there will be some facilitated time to contemplate what that second story will be. Okay. So we're releasing the first thing, right? What we're writing on our paper the first time. And you don't have to, some of you I see have begun writing, and that's fine. We're going to have some more time later to continue with that. And then we're also today talking about and reflecting on and feeling what it might be like to embrace the thing that we are being taught about ourselves in this release. And as ever, on the Dissolving Bowl Sunday, I just want to remind people, this is true today, this is true tomorrow, this is always true in my book, that this is not a self-improvement journey. This isn't okay, I'm going to get right now. This isn't, I'm going to fix myself this morning and then it's going to be all good. This is one little step. This is one little moment for contemplation, moment for self-discovery, moment for increased self-compassion, moment for a spiral turn in your own spiritual evolution, whatever that looks like for you. And so I invite you all into a place of holding this very gently for yourself, not as an opportunity to cut something off, but as an opportunity to reflect deeper on what's meaningful to you. So our ritual process is about to begin. The cycle of this process will be silence, and then we'll have a time to write, and then some reflection, and then more silence, and a time to write. And then we'll end with everybody coming up and dissolving your paper. Does everybody, this might be a good time to pause and say, does everybody have a slip of small white paper that was set out by the bulletins, by the door? If anybody doesn't have paper right now, could you raise your hand? Okay, so everybody's got some. Great. I still want to interrupt the silence once we begin. So everyone's got what they need. Okay. So we're going to enter into our ritual, into this temple in time, some people call rituals. So we're going to enter into this space together now. We'll begin with some silence and some quiet music. And your first prompt for this first moment of silence is simply, what are you releasing from 2025? What are you letting go of from 2025? You can write a word, a phrase, an image. What are you releasing? And just breathe and notice how what you've written makes you feel. How does that make you feel? What emotion arises? Imagine that the story you've written is the overstory of a forest, and now you get to dip under the leaves, crawl around under the branches. What else is going on? And when you're ready, I invite you to write or draw on that other side of your paper. What does what you are releasing tell you about yourself? About what you value? What principles are important to you in this stage of your life? Then take your time if you're still writing or drawing or scribbling or doodling. But as you hold this little slip of paper in your hand, just think right there on the same page you have the release and the value. The release and the gift of what it's taught you. There on the same little piece of paper. Both. As you breathe in, you might offer a thanks to this experience or this person or this moment for what it taught you, for how it encourages your growth, for how it informs what's important to you. And on your out breath, now you can just let it go. Embrace that gift and just let it go. Let's take one more minute of reflection. I follow what is meaningful to me. I follow what is valuable. I follow my principles. I forgive the times I have not. So with this spirit of both detachment and gratitude, you are all now invited forward to the bowls in the front, just here, to dissolve the paper. There are wands, very special magic wands next to each of the bowls that will make your slip of paper disappear if you've not done this before. So we are going to proceed with the dissolving, and if anybody needs a hand coming up or would prefer someone to take them, please reach out and we'll make sure everyone's papers are dissolved. So you're all invited, and I will go first. And there are 2 bowls, so we can have a few people at once. To live in this world, you must be able to do three things: to love what is mortal, and that does include yourself; to hold it against your bones, knowing that your own life depends on it; and then when the time comes to let it go, to let it go. Blessings on each of you and on the murky contents of the bowls up there. May this ritual leave you all feeling just a bit lighter and perhaps a bit wiser or more reflective on what you might be holding forward, moving into this new year. And next Sunday, the White Stone will fully pivot into that mode. But for now, may you be blessed with the balance of release and wisdom, the wisdom of release. And may you all go forth in alignment with your principles and your values and what's meaningful for you today and tomorrow and all year long.